day everyone. So for today's video, we're going to discuss something about probability distribution of random variables. So to illustrate what a probability distribution is, let us try to have an experiment to which we flip a coin. Okay? We flip a coin 3 times. Alright? So given the possible outcomes, pwede na ang sa experiment natin kapag nag-flip tayo ng coin 3 times, pwedeng lumabas ay 3 heads, di ba po? At pwede din naman na dalawa lang yung heads. In such a way na, let's say for example, yung unang lumabas ay 2 heads, tapos sa huli yung isang tail. Pwede din naman na nasa gitna yung tail. Okay, sa pangalawang try. And then, pwede din naman na nasa una yung isang tail at nasa dalawang dulo yung yung isang tail tapos nasa dulo yung 2 heads. So, ito yung mga posibleng outcomes natin kapag flip natin yung coin tapos 2 heads ang lalabas. Now, pwede din naman na ang posibleng outcome natin ay 2 tail ang lalabas at isang head. Pwede na nauna si head bago yung 2 tail. Pwede din naman na nasa gitna yung head. And pwede din naman na nasa dulo yung head. Okay po? And there would also be outcomes na kung saan kahit pinlip mo ng 3 beses yung coin, walang heads na lalabas. So, ibig sabihin, puro tail po yung lalabas. Alright? So, this is your sample. This is your sample space to which each element can be an event, okay, of your experiment. Now, when it comes to the probability distribution, the random variable, kung babalikan natin definition ng random variable, we are mapping out, okay, we are mapping out the outcome determined by chance into numbers. So let's say for example, our random variable here is the random variable x is determined by the number of heads. The number of heads. To which, kapag ganito po yung lumabas natin, number of heads, there are possible outcomes na pwedeng walang heads, pwedeng isa lang yung head, pwedeng dalawa yung head, at pwede din naman na 3 yung heads. Diba po? So, this is your random variable and to which we are to what? We are to get its probability. What do you mean by that? Paano po natin kukunin yung probability nito? Ilang beses po ba dito sa sample space natin? Ilang beses po ba na lumabas na wala tayong heads? That is just what? That is just 1. Ito lang. Kung saan yung time na naging 3 yung tail. So, ibig sabihin, the probability is 1/8 since we have 8 elements in our sample space. Now, what is now the probability of getting 1 head? Okay? The probability of getting 1 head. That is what? That is 1 head tayo ha. 1, 2, 3. So we have 3. So the probability of getting 1 head is 3/8. And then what is now the probability of getting 2 heads? We have 1, 2, 3. So that would also be 3/8. And the probability of getting 3 heads, or sa pag-flip natin ng coin 3 times na itong heads na lumabas, that is just 1. Ibig sabihin, the probability is 1/8. So now this is our random variable, the number of heads, and we have just distributed our probability to each outcome of our random variable. To which kapag 0 yung head, 1/8. Kapag walang head, kapag isa head, 3/8. Dalawang heads, 3/8 ulit. And kapag 3 heads, we have 1/8. And we are now to determine, or we are now to conceptualize the different properties of a probability distribution. And these are, number 1, the probabilities should be confined between 0 and 1, inclusive of both ends. So tulad no sa definition natin ng probability, di ba? Ang probability naman talaga is can only range from 0 to 1 inclusive. Okay? So hindi po siya bababa ng 0, hindi po siya tataas ng 1. Kailangan just within the range of 0 and 1. And the sum of all the probabilities should be 1. Alright? So balik tayo dun sa ating ginawa kanina. So kapag itong probabilities natin na to, we have 1 over 8, 3 over 8, 3 over 8, and 1 over 8. Kapag inad ba natin ito lahat, would it be 1? So we have 1 plus 3 plus 3 plus 1 over 8 is equal to what? That is 8 over 8 or simply 1. So this is one property of a probability distribution. Alright, given your random variable, and then we have the outcomes, and then you have the probabilities, dapat po yung probabilities, yung sampu niya ay 1. And that's how we illustrate the probability distribution of a discrete random variable. So, discrete po tayo, ha? Kasi, yun lang po yung kaya natin gawin. It's such a way that we are dealing with finite values. Okay po? So, let us have a more relevant example, relevant than just flipping a coin. Okay, so let's say for example, we have our problem on our previous videos, the grades of ABM 11A students in general mathematics. So we have here, given that you have your minimum value 85 and you have your maximum value, and we have just counted it. Okay? So, for 85, there are 7 students who got 85. 86 students who have 4. 4 students who have 86 na grade. And so on and so forth. For a total of 40. Now, our random variable would be the grades the grades of the students. Alright, so the grades of the students would be our random variable. And ito po yun, 85 to 95. Okay, and here is the frequency of all the grades to which it sum up to 40. So 40 students po. So now, how are we going to have its probability distribution? So sa probability distribution, given this kind of data, we can actually have what we so-called the relative frequency. When we say relative frequency, these are percentages, okay, to which this is equivalent to 7 divided by the total number of data that you have, which is 40. Okay? And that would be 0.175, to which kapag ginawa natin siyang percent, pag ginawa po natin siyang percent, that would be 17.5%. Okay? To which this actually connotes the probability of the students na merong 85 na grade out of 40 students. And same thing goes with the other one. So we have here 4 divided by 40. Okay? So that would be what? That would be 10%. That would be 10% or 0.1. And same thing goes with the other one. Alright, sige, ayan. Okay, ulit. So we have here 4 divided by 40. 4 divided by 40. So again, that is 0.1, or in percent, that is 10%. Okay? And that is 10%. Next is that we have 5 divided by 40. So that would be 0.125, or in percent, that is 12.5. And the other one, we have here 3 divided by 40. So that would be 0.075, or in percent, that is 7.5. Okay, and then we also have 2. We have here 2 divided by 40. So that would be 0.5, or that would be 5%. And then the other one is 2 divided by 40. That's again 0.05, or in percent, that's 5%. We also have 8 divided by 40. So that would be 0.2, or in percent, that is 20%. And then we also have here 3 divided by 40. So that will be 0.075, or in percent, that is 7.5. And then we have last two, 1 divided by 40. That would be 2.5%. And then we have here 1 divided by 40. That's again 2.5%. Okay, so these are the relative frequency for every grades of the student. Hence, para ma-check natin, this actually relative frequency is the probability for each grade. Okay? So let us now check if it would sum up to 1, or in percent, that is 100%. So we have here, all right, so that is, it should sum up to 100%. All right. So hence, our probability for each grade is correct. All right. So that is the probability distribution. Now, what if we are looking for a certain probability given a condition sa ating random variable. Let's say, for example, we are getting the probability of getting a student to which his grade, or his or her grade, is greater than a 90. What if we are given this one? The probability of getting, this is our random variable. So what is the probability of getting a student to which his or her grade is 90? So paano po natin yun makukuha? That is simply analyzing our condition. That is, x is less than, or x is greater than 90. So, ano ba yung mga values na greater than 90 dun sa ating x? So, that is 91, 92, 93, 94, and 95. Okay, hindi po kasama si 90 kasi ang sabi is greater than 90. So, for us to get the probability of a student, or getting a student to which his or her grade is greater than 90, is what? Is that we have the probability of a student na merong 91, tama po, na merong 91, plus the probability of getting a student na, sorry, may equal sign po ito. Ayan. Probability of getting a student na may 91 na grade, probability of a student na merong 92 na grade, plus, again, the probability of a student na merong 93 na grade, plus the probability of a student na merong 94, kasi yun yung mga greater than 90, di ba? Okay, plus the probability of a student na merong 95 na grade. Okay, so this is the way we get this one, the probability of getting a student na merong greater than 90 na grade. All right, and we simply what? We simply just add their probabilities. So, all right. So for us to get the probability, we have what? The probability of getting 91. That is 5% or 0.5. So that would be 0.5 plus the probability of getting 92. That is 20% or 0.20. Sorry. It's not 0.5. That's 0.05 pala. Okay? And then we have your 0.20 plus the probability of getting 93. That would be 7.5 or 0.075. And then, probability of getting 94, that is 1, that's 2.5% or 0.025 plus another 0.025. Hence, the probability of getting students na merong grade na greater than 90 is 0.375, or in percent, that is what? 37.5%. So that's how we determine the probability of a certain random variable given your probability distribution. Okay? So let's say, for example, again, we are getting the probability of getting a student, or getting students to which his or her grade is, let's say, for example, again, the probability of getting a students, or getting students with at most 87 na grade. 87 na grade. Okay? So how are we going to get this probability? So let us try to analyze. Students with at most. Paano ba pag sinabi natin at most? Okay? Paano natin siya i tawag dito? I-symbolize. That is what? That is the probability of what? The probability of at most eh. 'Di ba? Kapag sinabi nating at least, let's say for example, at least 5. Pag at least 5, 5 pataas, 'di ba? So pag sinabi nating at most, that would be from a certain value pababa. So ibig sabihin that is x is what? X is less than or equal to 87. Okay? So we are looking for this probability. The probability of x the probability x is less than or equal to 87. So, pupunta po tayo dito sa ating probability distribution and we are to look for what? To look for the probabilities ng x is less than or equal to 87. So, we are looking for the probability of what? Probability of x is equal to 87 kasi less than or equal to, 'di ba? Plus the probability of x is equal to what? 86 kasi yun yung less than plus the probability of x to which it is equal to what? To 85. Alright, so we are looking for this probability. And using our probability distribution, then we can simply get the probability of getting a student with at most 87 na grade. So we have here probability ng x is 87, that is 10%. So that would be 0.1 plus another 0.1 plus what? 17.5% or 0.175. Hence, the probability of getting a student with at most 87 na grade would be 0.375 or 37.5%. Okay? And that's how we illustrate the probability distribution of a discrete random variable.